Mr. Speaker, as riveting as that was, I will take my call.
Point of order, Jackie Dean.
Speaker, I seek leave to table this document from Forest and Bird.
Leave is sought to table that. The document the member was quoting from during his speech. Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection?
Mr. Speaker, this is Forest and Bird's membership drive.
There is no objection. It can be tabled. Carmel Cipollone.
First it was Aucklanders being denied a real say in the set-up of the super city, and now it is mining in their backyard that has been imposed on the Aucklanders against their will. Now, the problem is, Mr. Speaker, that this government has no ability to listen whatsoever, and I'm going to give an example of that. Now, in a recent newspaper, in the Hauraki Herald, there was an article in there, and it quotes one of the highest calibre national MPs. Everyone wants to be like her on that side of the house, and that's Sandra Goldie. And it quotes her as saying, Mr. Speaker, that she's unaware of opposition to the prospect of more mining in her electorate and believes any concerns have been generated by political opponents. Now, the fact that a National Party MP, particularly the one who is the member for the Coromandel, the fact that that person is unaware of any opposition to mining goes a long way with regards to saying how much that government does not listen. Now, that person only had to read the newspapers and listen to the radio to hear the opposition to mining. That person wouldn't have got it from the local group, though, Mr. Speaker, because it does also say in the paper that Coromandel Watchdog spokesperson Dennis Teague said his group did not bother voicing concerns about mining issues to Mrs. Goudie, who he described as a very minor backbencher. Quote, the people here have made a decision not to talk to her because it's a waste of time and energy. And I think that's what a lot of Aucklanders are thinking at the moment, not just about Ms. Goudie, but about a lot of the Auckland MPs on that side of the house, including the one from Wairarapa, Mr. Hayes. Now, Mr. Speaker, at the other end of the spectrum, what we have in our papers is National Party MPs not knowing what the policies of their party are and coming out saying that they disagree with what their party is advocating for. Now, Mr. Speaker, what we can't work out on this side of the House is whether Miss Nikki Kay didn't know the values of the National Party before she became a politician, or is it that she's worked out that Auckland Central's values don't align with the National Party, so now she's trying to look different from what the National Party are putting out there, Mr. Speaker. That's something we're still trying to understand. Now, Mr. Speaker, with regards to the mining issue, it's come up time and time again that New Zealanders aren't listening, not just with the mining, but what's been happening with the super city, Mr. Speaker. But what also has come out is the hidden agendas that exist on that side of the House. Hidden agendas that go back 2 or 3 years, actually, and are only beginning to surface at the moment. Mr. Speaker, we've seen hidden agendas around privatisation with that government over there. We've seen the hidden agenda of mining in the electorate of Waitakere even, Mr. Speaker. In Waitakere, when 2 years ago, the MP for Waitakere, Paula Bennett and Nick Smith, referred to the Waitakere Rangers Bill as confiscation by stealth. Confiscation by stealth. And when they went in there, Mr. Speaker, riding into Waitakere, Nick Smith and Paula Bennett riding into Waitakere, saying that they wanted the Waitakere Rangers to be a national park. A national park, Mr. Speaker. Nick Smith and Paula Bennett wanted the Waitakere Rangers to be a national park. Now, Mr. Speaker, now that a few months, a few years have gone by, we can look at that and think national parks is what they really wanted when they went in there 2 years ago just to dig them up. Perhaps Nick Smith and Paula Bennett had in the back of their minds the possibility of actually digging up the Waitakere Rangers and a ploy to actually mine in that area too, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, what we saw with the super city, and I have to commend our spokesperson for Auckland Issues, Phil Twyford, for the wonderful job that he did and continues to do on holding that side of the House, the government, to account with regards to the legislation that they're putting through. Now, Mr. Speaker, what we've seen with this legislation is not only the corporatisation of our democracy, but the local being taken out of local government, and the shambolic process with regards to the consultation that has occurred. And Aucklanders are not silly, Mr Speaker. They are not happy with the national government. Some of the comments that I heard while I was on the Select Committee were quite offensive to Aucklanders. I think it was Mr Bridges that said while we were taking submissions, Mr Speaker, Mr Bridges said, oh, who cares about 900 submissions on the Super City?
Order.